Since the Missouri River spilled its banks, taking a huge toll on.
That begs the question, could it happen here? The management and geology of the Missouri River allow citizens the peace of mind of not having to worry about catastrophic.
Beneath the winding waters of the Missouri River, a discovery has recently emerged that has prompted the United States Geological Survey, USGS, to issue an alarming red alert. This classification is reserved only for the most severe, high-risk geophysical events, making the situation unprecedented for the region. What lies beneath this river, historically considered placid and predictable, has the potential to alter not only the geological understanding of the area, but also the lives of thousands who inhabit its surrounding plains. The USGS, known for its caution and conservative response protocols, did not issue this alert lightly. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. It began with a series of subtle, almost imperceptible tremors that rippled through the Midwest. At first, these minor seismic events were dismissed as background noise, possibly linked to distant tectonic activity or even unrelated industrial operations. But as instruments along the river's banks began registering more consistent and pronounced seismic fluctuations, scientists initiated a deeper geophysical survey of the region. The results were staggering. Beneath the Missouri River, stretching across parts of South Dakota, Nebraska, and Missouri, a massive anomaly was forming, one that was neither fully seismic nor volcanic in nature, yet bore characteristics of both. Advanced ground-penetrating radar and magnetotelluric imaging revealed a colossal subsurface chamber, tens of kilometers wide, filled with superheated material. While not a magma chamber in the traditional sense, this subterranean formation displayed thermal signatures far exceeding typical geothermal gradients for the area. It was as if a pulse of energy had been injected deep into the crust, igniting dormant geological systems that had lain silent for millennia. Even more puzzling was the presence of a rapidly shifting mineral composition around the structure, suggesting active transformation processes occurring at alarming rates. The geological composition of the central United States is not commonly associated with such dynamic subterranean features. The Midwest sits atop a relatively stable portion of the North American craton, away from major tectonic plate boundaries. However, the ancient scars of failed rift systems and buried faults run deep beneath the plains, remnants of cataclysmic episodes dating back over 1 billion years. The USGS discovery suggests that one of these ancient faults, long believed inactive, may be reawakening. Seismologists studying the anomaly believe that the heat signature and mineralogical shifts could be signs of tectonic pressure building along these deep faults. As the chamber expands or contracts, it could cause sudden energy releases, resulting in significant seismic activity. Unlike California or Alaska, the central United States lacks the infrastructure and public awareness to cope with large earthquakes. Buildings, dams, and bridges in this region are generally not constructed to withstand seismic shaking, making the potential for disaster profound. What adds to the gravity of the discovery is the unexpected electromagnetic disruption recorded in the vicinity. Several high-sensitivity instruments detected electromagnetic pulses correlating with the deeper seismic shifts, a phenomenon typically associated with deep crustal movement or volcanic activity. These signals were strong enough to interfere with communication systems and localized GPS operations, adding a layer of technological vulnerability to the physical threat. Experts speculate that if these emissions intensify, they could impact not just local navigation systems, but also long-range communication networks that crisscross the continent. The Missouri River itself, winding and powerful, now flows directly over this mysterious anomaly. Hydrologists have begun observing subtle changes in the river's behavior, minor shifts in flow direction, unexplained temperature variations in deeper water layers, and sudden surges in sediment load. These changes, though not yet dangerous, are indicators that the dynamic processes beneath are interacting with surface systems. If the ground were to shift significantly, it could alter the course of the river, flooding towns and displacing thousands. More critically, it could threaten dams and levees that were never engineered to cope with such geophysical upheaval. This has sparked deep concern among those monitoring the Gavins Point Dam and other key infrastructure along the river. The possibility of ground displacement under or around these massive structures is chilling. Failure of even one of these dams could send billions of gallons of water rushing downstream, engulfing communities from Yankton to St. Louis. Emergency planners are already running simulations to model worst-case scenarios, but the variability of the underlying anomaly makes prediction extremely difficult. It is not just the volume of water at risk, but also the potential release of hazardous materials from industrial sites situated along the riverbanks. At the heart of this situation is the unknown nature of the anomaly itself. Geologists are divided on whether it represents the emergence of a new geothermal hotspot, the reactivation of an ancient tectonic plate fragment, or even something more exotic. Some researchers are exploring the idea that the anomaly could be tied to a mantle plume, a rare upwelling of superheated rock from deep within the Earth. These plumes are typically found beneath volcanic regions like Yellowstone or the Hawaiian Islands, making its presence beneath the Missouri River both baffling and ominous. Data from deep borehole sensors reveal that the pressure within this anomaly is increasing. There are signs of microfracturing in the surrounding rock, suggesting that the system is active and evolving rapidly. In geological terms, rapid can still mean years or decades, but the pace of change here is faster than anything recorded in the region's history. The red alert issued by the USGS is not merely precautionary. It is a recognition that the risk of a significant geological event is both real and imminent. This has forced a re-evaluation of long-standing assumptions about the geological stability of the American Midwest. Communities situated along the Missouri River have long relied on the waterway for agriculture, transportation, and power generation. Now, the very source of life and commerce may become a conduit for destruction. Even before any major event occurs, the implications of the discovery are already disrupting local economies. Insurance companies are reassessing risk models, and development projects near the river have been put on indefinite hold. Farmers are being warned of potential disruptions to irrigation systems, and barge operators are facing mounting concerns about navigational hazards due to shifting river depths. The scientific community, while intrigued, is racing against time to fully understand the phenomenon. Field teams have been deployed to collect soil samples, conduct aerial thermal imaging, and install more seismic monitors. But the complexity of the anomaly defies easy classification. There are rumors that some aspects of the findings are being withheld from the public to prevent panic, especially as the anomaly's shape and pressure signature change weekly. The sheer scope of the subsurface formation, combined with its unpredictable nature, makes it a priority not only for geologists, but also for national security experts. Complicating matters further is the potential for the anomaly to trigger a cascade of secondary effects. For instance, the buildup of subterranean heat could impact groundwater systems, leading to the contamination or depletion of aquifers. Given that much of the Midwest depends on groundwater for drinking and farming, this risk alone is substantial. Additionally, gas pockets disturbed by the shifting geology could seep to the surface, creating hazardous conditions for humans and wildlife alike. The risk of landslides, sinkholes, and spontaneous fissures opening along the riverbanks adds to the growing list of concerns. One of the most puzzling aspects of the discovery is the rate of change observed in local flora and fauna. Biologists studying the Missouri River Basin have reported unusual patterns in animal migration, reproductive behavior, and mortality rates. Fish species are appearing out of season, bird flocks are altering their flight paths, and certain amphibians have shown signs of stress not attributable to pollution or climate alone. These biological signals, subtle but consistent, seem to be responding to the same deep energy forces that are driving the geological changes beneath. There's also growing attention to the atmospheric anomalies recorded above the river. Meteorological stations have observed brief, unexplained temperature inversions and barometric fluctuations directly over the anomaly's center. Some scientists believe these could be linked to the underground electromagnetic activity, suggesting a deeper interconnection between the Earth's interior processes and atmospheric conditions. If verified, this could have implications not just for geology, but for climate science as well. As the red alert remains active, a state of heightened observation continues. USGS labs across the country are coordinating their data feeds, sharing live telemetry with NASA and other agencies in an attempt to piece together a coherent picture of what's unfolding. The integration of satellite-based interferometry, drone-mounted spectrometers, and quantum gravimetry has opened new windows into the subsurface behavior, revealing patterns that are both mesmerizing and deeply unsettling. The rhythmic pulses of energy, the symmetrical heat blooms, and the geometric layout of stress fractures hint at a process that is not entirely chaotic, but one that may follow a deeper, unknown order. For now, there are no answers. Only questions that multiply with every new data set. Is this a precursor to a catastrophic rupture? Could it trigger a chain reaction affecting other geological fault lines in North America? What ancient forces lie dormant beneath the Missouri River, and why are they stirring now? These are questions that science must confront head-on, with urgency, precision, and an openness to revise everything it thought it knew about the geology of the American heartland. The Missouri River has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, shaped the land and the people who live beside it, and stood as a symbol of stability for centuries. Now, it conceals beneath its surface a force that threatens to upend all notions of permanence. The red alert issued by the USGS is a signal flare, an urgent call for attention to a mystery as deep as the Earth itself. Whether this anomaly will become a cataclysm or remain a dormant enigma is still unknown. But one thing is certain. The ground beneath the Missouri River is no longer still, and neither is the world watching it. In the days following the USGS red alert, a new wave of data emerged, one that carried implications extending well beyond geology. What was initially identified as a subterranean anomaly is now showing characteristics more aligned with a dynamic geophysical engine, an intricate interplay of heat, pressure, mineral transformation, and electromagnetic phenomena operating at a scale not previously observed in the interior of the North American continent. What is becoming clear is that the anomaly is not static. Satellite-based interferometric synthetic aperture radar, INSAR, has documented subtle surface deformations spreading in a radial pattern from the epicenter of the anomaly. These undulations, though measured in mere centimeters, are occurring over thousands of square miles and at a pace that contradicts known tectonic models for the region. Such shifts in the Earth's crust typically occur over centuries. The fact that these movements are happening within weeks or months has turned the region into a natural laboratory for high-strain geodynamics. Beyond the slow rise and fall of the ground, there's also mounting evidence of acoustic anomalies. Low-frequency vibrations, known as infrasound, have been picked up by specialized sensors deployed throughout the Missouri River basin. These frequencies, inaudible to human ears but often used in monitoring volcanic activity and nuclear testing, are rhythmic and sustained, hinting at deep-seated resonance. Experts suggest that these sound waves could be originating from oscillations in vast underground fluid or gas chambers, activated by the geological shifts occurring below. Geochemists working on site have been particularly struck by changes in soil composition and gas emissions. Elevated concentrations of radon, helium-3, and carbon dioxide are being registered in test wells. These gases are typically associated with deep mantle sources and are rarely found at surface levels in this region. The release of helium-3, in particular, is a signature of materials originating from deep within the Earth, far beyond the reach of most mining operations or known crustal processes. This suggests that the anomaly may be a conduit or breach point connecting the upper mantle to the Earth's crust, a rare and geologically potent occurrence. As these gases rise through porous rock and sediment, they create pathways of least resistance, which in turn causes microseismic events. These tiny tremors, sometimes referred to as earthquake swarms, have begun to cluster with increasing density. While each event might register low on the Richter scale, the collective stress they exert on the regional geology is significant. If enough pressure builds, one of these swarms could trigger a larger rupture, especially if it intersects with any of the ancient buried fault lines now believed to be reawakening beneath the Missouri River corridor. The hydrological response to this underground activity is another emerging concern. Field teams have observed rising temperatures in groundwater wells, some of which have also begun to show changes in pH levels and mineral content. Such transformations could have wide-ranging effects on agricultural zones that rely on well water for crop irrigation and livestock. In some locations, small geyser-like eruptions have been reported, vents of steam and mineral-rich water bursting unexpectedly from old riverbeds or shallow aquifers. These are clear signs that geothermal energy is migrating upward, pressurizing subsurface channels and destabilizing the balance between deep rock and surface hydrology. Simultaneously, specialists in geomagnetism have taken note of localized magnetic field distortions. Portable magnetometers, when deployed across the region, show fluctuations in intensity and direction. This magnetic behavior cannot be easily explained through simple ferromagnetic deposits or known metallic veins in the crust. Instead, it appears to originate from a deeper interaction, possibly caused by ionized gas movement or the piezoelectric effects of stressed quartz-rich rocks. These distortions can interfere with electronics, navigation systems, and even the orientation of migratory species, many of which rely on Earth's magnetic field to guide them. Astrobiologists and planetary geologists have even expressed interest in the anomaly due to its structural similarities to subcrustal formations observed on other planetary bodies. Some researchers have pointed out that the characteristics seen here, fluid migration, mineral phase shifts, and electromagnetic emissions, mirror processes observed in certain regions of Mars and Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. This has opened an unexpected line of inquiry that studying the Missouri River anomaly may shed light on extraterrestrial geology, offering a living example of planetary behavior once thought to occur only in alien environments. Technological advancements have also allowed researchers to use distributed acoustic sensing, DAS, along fiber optic cables embedded in the ground. These cables, often used for internet or utility infrastructure, are now doubling as massive listening devices. By analyzing how ambient vibrations travel through these networks, scientists can create high-resolution, real-time maps of stress distribution across vast territories. Early DAS readouts suggest that strain is concentrating not just near the epicenter, but is rippling outward in spiral patterns, a phenomenon that challenges classical linear fault models. Beyond the data, there is a growing psychological and sociopolitical strain emerging from this red alert. Residents living near the anomaly have reported unusual physical symptoms, headaches, dizziness, nausea, potentially linked to low-frequency vibrations or gas emissions. Whether these symptoms are biological, psychosomatic, or a combination of both remains under investigation. Nonetheless, public concern is mounting. The scarcity of clear information, combined with the technical nature of what is known, has created an atmosphere ripe for speculation and fear. Local governments are beginning to coordinate with federal agencies on contingency plans that include everything from controlled evacuations to the strategic reinforcement of critical infrastructure. But logistical challenges loom large. The Missouri River is a major commercial artery, with thousands of barges transporting grain, coal, and industrial goods every month. Any disruption to its navigability could send economic shockwaves through supply chains nationwide. Moreover, major highways and rail lines skirt the river's path, raising the specter of transportation paralysis in the event of a significant geological event. Adding a new layer to the complexity is the potential interaction between the anomaly and existing anthropogenic structures. The Midwest is dotted with old mines, underground storage facilities, oil pipelines, and fracking wells. These man-made voids and pressurized systems introduce additional variables. If ground movement intersects with any of these, it could result in blowouts, contamination events, or chain reactions. Particularly concerning are the salt caverns used for natural gas storage. A rupture in one of these facilities could result in explosive releases with catastrophic impact. Academic institutions across the United States are now scrambling to assemble interdisciplinary task forces. Geologists are partnering with engineers, ecologists, data scientists, and even philosophers to frame the broader meaning of this phenomenon. For many, it represents a rare moment of convergence, where Earth's internal machinations rise visibly into human consciousness. The anomaly, in its unknowable enormity, is beginning to influence not just physical systems, but cultural and epistemological ones as well. It challenges assumptions of control and permanence that underpin modern civilization. Remote sensing platforms continue to yield surprises. One such surprise came from hyperspectral imaging surveys conducted by drones flying at low altitude over the Missouri River Valley. These surveys detected unusual reflectance patterns in certain sediments and plant life. Upon further analysis, scientists found evidence of trace elements, such as thorium, yttrium, and neodymium, at concentrations much higher than the regional average. These rare earth elements are vital for modern electronics and green technologies, and their sudden appearance at the surface could signal deep mantle flux or even metallogenic processes still poorly understood. The geopolitical implications of such a find cannot be ignored. The United States has long been dependent on foreign sources for critical minerals used in semiconductors, batteries, and renewable energy infrastructure. If the anomaly is indeed exhuming rare earths from the deep earth, it could radically shift national resource strategies. However, mining these materials in a region marked by active ground deformation and electromagnetic irregularities poses extreme technical challenges and ethical dilemmas. The line between opportunity and catastrophe remains razor thin. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on the USGS Red Alert? Will it lead to evacuation? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.